الله أكبر.
قصفوا الأسر الرئاسي. يا الله دخيلك.
היום, מהבוקר, יש לנו מחויבות לשמור על אזור דרום מערב סוריה כשטח מפורז בגבול ישראל. אנחנו לא נרשה לחזור למצב שמקיימים לנו שם לבנון שנייה. יש לנו מחויבות לשמור על אזור דרום מערב סוריה כשטח מפורז בגבול ישראל. אנחנו לא נרשה לחזור למצב שמקיימים לנו שם לבנון שנייה. ואנחנו גם מחויבים לשמור על התושבים הדרוזים. אנחנו עושים זאת באמצעות פעולות עצימות.
للغاية استهدفت
قصف هائل
العاصمة.
ما نشهده
قصف قوي جدا
قصف قوي جدا وشهدناه على مبنى الأركان العامة في ساحة الأمويين في دمشق.
نعم يا أخي والله في 20 ثانية الطائرات.
Israel has vowed to protect them.
אנחנו פועלים גם בסוריה היום, מהבוקר. יש לנו מחויבות לשמור על אזור דרום מערב סוריה כשטח מפורז בגבול ישראל. אנחנו לא נרשה לחזור למצב שמקיימים לנו שם לבנון שנייה. ואנחנו גם מחויבים לשמור על התושבים הדרוזים. אנחנו עושים זאת באמצעות פעולות עצימות. אני מקווה שלא נצטרך לפעול יותר. זה תלוי מאוד במה שמבינים וגם עושים וגם לא עושים בדמשק.
And began to attack the Druze minorities. And because of that, Israel has now come in and is attacking Syrian forces to protect the Druze. Now, the Druze are a minority of about 500,000 people in southwestern Syria. There's about another 500,000 in Lebanon and Israel. And just about an hour ago, the statement that Benjamin Netanyahu made that you just quoted, he began by saying, "My fellow Druze citizens of Israel, you know, we are protecting your people over the border, but please don't go over the border yourself. Leave this to us." And so what began as an intercommunal problem between two relatively small militia groups in two minority communities has now become a clash between Israeli forces and Syrian forces. and the Israelis are attacking as far right to the west of Damascus and have launched hundreds of airstrikes in recent weeks and have increased those airstrikes in that particular area. So this has become a serious situation which began as a peacekeeping problem between two relatively small groups of militias from two of the minority groups in southwestern Syria.
And Michael, also we're hearing in the last couple of minutes a bit more breaking news, and this from the Syrian state news agency reporting that Israel are also striking targets in Damascus as well, the Syrian capital. We believe it may well be the Syrian military headquarters.
The details that you're looking at, but that's certainly what it sounds like. I mean, the point here, Darren, is that Israel has made it very clear that they regard southwestern Syria now as a demilitarized zone. So one thing, I mean, they've occupied Mount Hermon, which is a very important strategic point because it overlooks Damascus. And they've taken Mount Hermon, which is in Syrian territory. They moved into the UN-monitored buffer zone on the eastern strip of the Golan Heights. So they've already moved out of the Golan Heights, which originally, of course, was Syrian territory until 1967. So
يواصل مهاجمة قوات
الله أكبر الله أكبر الطائرات الحربية تقصف محافظة دمشق. الطائرات الحربية الإسرائيلية قصفت مبنى وزارة الاحتلال الإسرائيلي يقوم بقصف قصر الشعب في دمشق.
The forces of the Syrian government have been attacking. Right now in Syria, a civil war is raging. Nothing could be more dramatic than what is happening at this very moment in the Syrian border between Israel and Syria. Hundreds of Israeli Druze have crossed the border into Syria proper to help their brothers who are being slaughtered by Islamist factions and by the government inside of Syria itself. This has been going on for several days. We couldn't have planned this. We planned this live in advance. And as we're standing here, the news is updating on a regular basis. The IDF has bombed inside of Syria, including bombing the chief of staff building in Damascus.
Yes.
And more than that, we've been looking at multiple days of an ongoing attack by Sunni factions within Syria against the Druze community. And on the Israeli side, a strong response both from the Israeli army, but Druze civilians in northern Israel and the Golan Heights that have crossed over into Syria to aid their family members in stopping what is trying to be an attempted massacre of the Druze population in Syria. We're looking at history in the making. This is a very, very, very dramatic moment. I don't think I've seen images like this in years. A very, very dramatic change of events. Once again, we're live talking about what's been going on in Syria, an ongoing massacre of the population, the Druze population in Syria. They are fighting back, and they're aided by hundreds of Israeli Druze that have broken through the border into Syria to stop those attacks. And along that, also an attack by the Israeli Air Force on multiple targets within Syria. Today, we have a very, very special live. We're talking about events that are happening by the minute as we sit here. This isn't something that happens often. These events are unfolding so much so that we weren't even able to write a script in advance because everything has changed in recent hours. Not only that, we have a special guest that's joining us remotely, who is a Druze, to give a really in-depth analysis of everything that's happening. I'll introduce him in just a second. But if you're joining us now, I'm Mati Shoshani. This is TBN Israel's Boots on the Ground Live. I'm joined in the studio in Jerusalem by Tomil, our director and producer, by Micah, by Sam, and downstairs we have Gitai, and who else is there? Just Gitai is holding the fort downstairs. Good for Gitai. Anyway, so that's what's been happening. We're here for the next about 45 minutes telling you about everything that's been happening in Syria. And our purpose today, and we do this every week, is to give you a live update and answers to all your questions about what's been happening. And today we're breaking down the historic events that have been taking place in Syria. And we want to start with a video that Mansour, our guest, is about to share with us.
It's the video of the bombing in Damascus.
Please. This is happening right now. This happened minutes ago in Syria. We're watching Syrian news, and as they're recording the news, the Israeli Air Force bombs the Chief of Staff building is it in Beirut?
What?
Where is it in Syria? Damascus, sorry. I'm confused. It's in Damascus in Syria. Wrong country. It's in
a bit south trend in Lebanon.
Yeah. It's in Damascus in Syria. We're watching this happen as we sit here at the studio. Guys, you just joined TBN Israel's Boots on the Ground Live. We're talking about everything that's been happening in Syria. 3 days ago on July 13th, a tension that started within factions connected to the Druze and then Bedouin Sunni communities. They started clashing over what was a small event involving several of the Bedouin community attacking a member of the Druze community. The Druze retaliated to that attack, and then, and this is where it gets interesting, or it was interesting to begin with, it gets very interesting. Forces that are connected to the Syrian leader, Ashara, also known previously as El-Julani, they enter Suweda, which is sort of the headquarters or the biggest concentration of Druze population. And what they're saying is we came to restore order, but instead of restoring order, what they did was carry out acts of violence against the Druze community. Now, this included executions. It included brutal violence against civilian population. Today, again, is the 16th of July. So today, the Israeli Defense Minister, İSRAİL Katz, says earlier this morning, it's now afternoon in Israel, Minister of Defense Katz publicly condemns the actions of the Syrian government, threatens to take whatever action necessary to stop the attacks by the Druze community, by the El-Julani or Al-Shara government against the Druze community, and ensures and publicly states that Israel will enforce and uphold the demilitarized zone in southern Syria and threatens further military action. We're now seeing that further military action. That was in the morning today. This, in the middle of the day, so about 4 or 5 hours ago, it's now 4:15 p.m., the Israeli Air Force launches drone strikes against Syrian regime targets, including armored vehicles near Suweda, so in the Druze area, and the main entrance to the Syrian military headquarters in Damascus. And this is a direct message against the regime that aggression towards the Druze will be met with direct action. This afternoon, so just in the last hour, large-scale protests erupt within Israel's Druze community. This is in northern Israel. Hundreds of Druze in northern Israel cross into Syria. We're going to show you the images of it. It is unbelievable. Hundreds of Druze people storm the fences of the border, tear them down, and run into Syria. Some of these people are armed, and they cross the border to help their brothers who are under siege in Suweda. The Israeli forces respond by reinforcing security along the border. They utilize tear gas and warning shots to try to control the situation, but let's be honest here, it's not working. Hundreds have crossed in. We don't know what is happening. We've also been hearing in the last hour that the death toll in Suweda is rising on an ongoing basis, with reports indicating that at least close to 250 Druze have been killed, including women and children. There's footage that's circulating online that we're not going to share of mass executions, severe human rights violations, and there's an intensifying outrage among the Druze community in Israel and worldwide about what's been happening. And just now, our Minister of Defense issues another warning. He states that Israel is signaling to the Israeli regime that we're done signaling, and from now on, we're taking only military response that will escalate as long as the Syrian army doesn't stop what's happening against the Druze community. We're live here in Jerusalem. This is happening and unfolding in front of our eyes.
You have updates too from the last second.
Yeah, in just a few minutes, Ashara or El-Julani is about to make a public statement talking about the IDF's attack in southern Lebanon, in Damascus itself, and the violent clashes that are taking place in the Asweda area. Okay, let's pause for a second. This has been, I can't express how dramatic this is. These aren't the kind of images that you see on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, by the way, the IDF just attacked again next to the Damascus castle, the presidential
palace.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is very, very, very dramatic. Again, we're live here in Jerusalem. We're about to be joined by a friend who is a Druze himself to talk about the ongoing attacks against the Druze in southern Syria, the fact that hundreds of Israeli Druze have crossed the border uninvited by both the Syrians and let's put it, they weren't unsolicited by the Israeli government, and that this is a dramatic moment in history that we need to be paying attention to. The Druze community in southern Syria, they've been massacring them. There are hundreds of dead on the Druze side. Over 1,000 Israeli Druze Okay. Shall I start with that? Okay. So we lost do we have audio on this? Okay. We lost our main studio camera, so I'm just going to end it from here, from Toma's laptop. Guys, what a dramatic day. What a dramatic series of events. Do we have audio, Sam? Do you have any idea? Okay, we hear from the computer. Okay. Syria. I'm hearing myself twice. Okay. Let's stop this. Okay, are we back? Okay, it's very patchy. Dramatic days. We're looking at over 1,000 Israeli Druze that have crossed over into Syria. Israeli Air Force bombing multiple targets across Syria, including the Chief of Staff building in Damascus, including at least 5 command centers for the Syrian army. Israeli jets fighting actively, and Israeli special forces amassed at the border, waiting the green light to go in. As we sit here, the Israeli government is meeting for a decision over what will happen next, what we need to do with the ongoing crisis in Syria. Very dramatic days. Continue to pray, continue to stand with. These are very, very hard days for them. Put in a prayer, call on anyone of influence that you know to stop this attack, because this is nothing less than an attempted ethnic cleansing of the Druze in Syria by radical Islam. We don't need to mince words with this. This is exactly what is happening.